What's going on, everybody? This week, I'm gonna do my Wednesday video. I'm gonna postpone for a week. Instead of answering your questions this week about, that you've presented for me, I just wanted to talk about something. I just wanted to kind of have a heart-to-heart with all of you. You guys have welcomed me into your homes. You guys have been so overwhelmingly supportive of me, and you've been so overwhelmingly kind to me and generous to me. And I just wanted to talk about something that's on my mind. So this week's Q&A video is going to be pushed to next week. And my hope is that you'll consider still asking a question over the next week if there's anything that you want me to answer next week. I've been collecting cards, as I've mentioned to you all many times, since I was about 8 years old. And I've never really understood what it is. What's the point? What's the point of collecting cards? Now, sure, I love sports. And growing up, I absolutely lived and breathed playing baseball, playing soccer, playing basketball, playing golf. So many sports that I played growing up that were so important to me. And I looked up to so many athletes. And so collecting some little piece of their journey and feeling like I was a part of it, that seemed like that was certainly part of the reason that I liked cards. I love history. I love learning about the past. And yeah, that certainly is part of it. Whenever I pick up a card of a new player that I don't have, I immediately begin learning more about the player and learning more about the history of that sport or whatever that group is. Even as I've gotten into, non-sport cards, and I start looking into a variety of characters or political figures or inventors, it leads me to opening the door to learning more about them. Growing up as a kid, I went to a lot of card shows with my dad. I had a lot of good times driving there and back in the car and just having conversations about life, about cards, about really learning about business, which is really one of the things that sparked my passion for economics and finance and business. All of those things were certainly part of why I collect and why I love collecting. But I still have always wondered, what's really the point? What's really the point? And recently, one of the things that I realized is it's a great escape. This world is so filled with anger and animosity and division that when I'm looking at cards, when I'm researching cards, when I'm watching YouTube videos about cards, that stuff just kind of goes away. And I really appreciate that about cards. But I still don't really know, or haven't known, what is the point? What is the point? What is the thing about cards that has really made an impact on me the most? I've really enjoyed this YouTube thing. I've really enjoyed getting to know so many of you. My kids both played sports, and I wanted them to play sports growing up. They both played soccer and were both very athletic. Lucy still plays soccer. They both played softball, and Molly was a very good softball pitcher, and she did great until she decided it wasn't her thing anymore. And they both golfed. And Molly got into competitive golf and tournament golf, and she would go to tournaments all over Northern California and compete against other kids. And she did really, really well. I mean, in high school, her team finished, I think, 4th in Northern California, which is a huge number of schools that are represented. Molly was a very important part of that team, won all league awards every single year she played. She's shot in the 70s many, many times. I mean, she's a very good golfer. And as I've talked about recently with Lucy, she's a really good soccer player. I mean, her high school team thus far in the season has 15 total goals. Lucy has 13 goals and an assist. I mean, she's phenomenal. And one of the reasons that I wanted my kids to play sports was not to become a professional athlete. It wasn't for a college scholarship. It wasn't to stay healthy. You know, it wasn't to have a positive outlet. Now, those things are great. But the real reason I wanted my kids to play sports is so that my kids could learn life lessons in athletics. How to overcome adversity, how to work hard, how to become part of a team, how to work with other people that you may or may not agree with, how to really set goals and find ways to achieve your goals, how to have disagreements with people and overcome the disagreements. There's so many good things that come from athletics and youth athletics that my kids have benefited from, and they're really the reason that I wanted them to play sports. And very, very recently, a few of you have reached out to me, and a few of you that I've really, really connected with, whether it be other YouTubers, whether it be, viewers. I feel like over the past, I've only been doing this YouTube thing now for 14 or 15 months. I've made some really good friends. I've made some really, really good friends. And they may not be people that I've met in person. It may not be people that I've sat and had dinner with. It may be people I haven't even talked to on the phone. But the messages that people have sent me, the communications that people have sent me, the text messages that I continually have with many of these really good people has changed my life. It's genuinely changed my life. See, when our days come to an end, what's going to happen is we're all going to be laying on a bed thinking back over what our life was all about. And what I think is the things that I'm really going to care about are my family, are my friends, are my faith, and what kind of example and what kind of person I was along the way. And for me personally, one thing that I try really hard to do, is I try to be a good person. And I still get comments all the time on my channel about how I'm a meathead, or how I don't know what I'm talking about. I have people who will make videos saying that I'm clueless, and that's okay. That doesn't bother me. It's not a big deal. And I got people out there who might watch my content and they don't even like me. And, there are times I don't like myself. So I totally understand why somebody out there may not like me. I get it. I am certainly flawed just like everybody, and I certainly have a long ways to go. But my focus of what I want to try to get across today is this. Just like athletics, in my opinion, are really just a tool. They're really just a way for my kids to learn life lessons. One of the things that I've recently realized because of some of you, and I don't want to start naming people because then I'll inevitably leave off somebody important to me from the list, and then I'll beat myself up. But those of you who I've connected with, and those of you that are genuinely my friends, that's really the reason that I think cards were brought into my life. Cards were brought into my life not to collect pieces of cardboard with pictures of men playing sports on them. Cards were brought into my life, I believe, for the friendships that I've made, for the connections that I've made. Because it's really not about the cards. The cards are great. The cards are fun. But the cards are a tool to build friendships. And my advice to all of you is don't forget that. Don't overlook the fact that you're building tight bonds with people that matter, that people that you are connecting with, that you are making an impact on. And because of that, it's not just about the cards. It's about the relationships and it's about the friendships. Friendships matter. Friendships matter a lot. And when you lose a friend, it hurts. Hold on tight to those friends that you've made. It matters.